All right, guys. So now we are going to get into Stubbie, which is a quarters check or a way to defend trips. I should say a trips check. All right. In the first video, I should have went over solo or poach or kick. This video, we will get into Stubbie. All right. And the way you get into Stubbie in Madden is you simply call cover 4 palms, at least up until Madden 26. And again, the point of these videos is to give you a reference point and to give you the rules of a particular coverage. So it doesn't matter what year of Madden you are playing, you can always come back to this course or this library, find the check that you want to learn about, and click on the video and go through the rules. All right. And obviously I'm going to go over checks that aren't in Madden. Okay. But at least you will know what the check is about, what it's designed to do. And then you could try to simulate the check in Madden. And if it's impossible to do so, at least you know what the check is all about. All right. So now we're going to get into Stubbie. All right. And with Stubbie, okay, we are going to put a line down. I got to move this thing over here. I actually don't think I can do it. Let's see. There we go. We're going to put a line over here. And the reason why we're doing that is because the backside corner is locked Meg on that receiver. All right. It doesn't matter what that receiver does. He is locked Meg. If that receiver runs a go, a slant, a drag, a 5-yard in, he is locked in man-to-man. Okay, and where the magic happens with Stubbie is right here. All right, this is where we get a 3-on-2 matchup. All right, and what's going on here is your safety is in a 3-2 read. Your apex defender is in a 3-2 read as well, and then this is your 3-rec. All right, and this is where you would get like 2 read, I believe is what they call it. All right, and the way this works is, the way it will look like regular quarters in a lot of aspects is if number 3 goes vertical and number 2 goes vertical. All right. And what's going to happen here is the safety who's reading 3-2, all right, is 3 vertical. If the answer is yes, then he's going to match that route man to man. And that is the end of that. All right. Now the nickel, as opposed to him reading the number 2, he's not reading the number 2 first. He's reading the number 3. Okay. He's looking at 3. And if 3 is vertical, he knows that the safety is going to take 3 vertical. And in that instance, okay, 3 is vertical. Now he gets his eyes on number 2 and he takes 2 vertical. That's how that works. So from the naked eye, looking at that, that may look like some version of just regular mod quarters coverage or whatever the case may be. But where it would look a little bit differently, even though we call it the same coverage, Stubbie, is where number 3 goes out. Okay. If 3 goes out, something like that. All right. So we can go through the rules here. All right. The safety, he's reading 3-2. Is 3 vertical? Well, the answer is no. He's running out or underneath. All right. So now he gets his eyes on 2. Is 2 vertical? And if the answer is yes, then he's going to take that route man to man. So he runs a post, a deep dig. Okay, he's matching that route man to man. Now, in that same instance, okay, the nickel, remember, he's reading 3-2, and he's reading 3 first. That's what's most important. Is 3 out? Well, the answer is yes. Well, then now you are matching that route man to man. Okay, and that's where it would look different, even though you call it the same coverage, because it depends on what number 3 does. The route that number 3 runs dictates how we are going to play. Okay, if he runs vertical, then this guy's taking him, and I'm taking number 2 vertical. But if number 3 goes out, then I'm taking him, and then I'm taking the vertical of number 2. Okay, now what the 3-rec wants to do, it really doesn't change. Okay, the 3-rec wants to wall off the inside of the number 3. Okay, that's pretty simple. But the key component of Stubbie and where it's different from solo, poach, or kick is the obvious reason is that we are not stealing the backside safety. We're not kicking the safety over as we do in kick or solo coverage. Okay, so this really is a true split field coverage the way kick coverage is not. Okay, and what I mean by split field is that this side of the defense is completely independent of this side of the defense. Okay, so this is now in Madden. I'll go ahead and go through this. In Madden, they lock this guy man to man, and they lock this guy man to man, and they had this guy really play kind of like in the seam, and he kind of shuffles over to the post when you call Stubbie or palms. Okay, but you know, in the real world, when you call Stubbie, it's really a front side check. And what I mean by that is Stubbie is all the rules I just went over from that side, but now we can do whatever we want on the backside. We can call cover 2 for the backside. We can have 2-man on the backside where these guys are locked man in your deep half. I believe Saban has something, I believe it's called like tough, where this guy, where we get like an inverted type of deal here. Okay, the point is you can run whatever you want on the backside, and you're awarded that versatility in Stubbie as opposed to kick, again, because we're not stealing the backside safety. We're keeping a true 3-on-2 on one side and a 4-on-3 on the other side. And that's the benefit of split safety coverages. You keep a +1 in the pass distribution on both sides of the field. And what I mean by that is, well, I just stated it. They have 2 receivers, we have 3 defenders. They have 3 receivers, we have 4 defenders. All right. So we can get into, like I did in the kick coverage video, why you would want to call Stubbie as opposed to kick. Okay. And one reason why you would want to call something like this as opposed to kick is, let's say they have a stud on the backside and you don't feel comfortable leaving this guy locked man to man with no safety help on the backside. Like that's what would happen in kick, because you're stealing the backside safety to take the vertical of number 3. Well, with Stubbie, now we are able to keep the safety on the backside, and now we can help out the corner on that guy, so you're not one-on-one. That's one reason why you may want to call Stubbie, so you can free up the backside. Okay. Another reason why you may want to call Stubbie as opposed to the kick concept is, well, you also are able to help the backside linebacker too. So in the last video with kick, I stated that when you run kick, you're locked man-to-man on the backside here. And let's say you have something like Christian McCaffrey in his prime against a linebacker that struggles in space. We can get a lot of one-on-ones here with this linebacker. Again, this is why it's good to have a +1 on one side of the field, because we can draw up whatever we want on this side to provide some over-the-top help with this linebacker dealing with this stud backer in space, because we have a safety over the top. We can invert coverages to help. We can do a number of different things. You cannot do that with the regular quarters kick coverage, again, because you're stealing the backside safety. Okay. And another reason why you may want to call something like Stubbie, let's say they were to do something where they get these guys close together. All right, so maybe I'll draw something up really quickly here. Ooh, I lost my paint. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's put the 3 here. Let's put the 2 here. And let's just imagine they're not there. And let's say we were to get like switch release type routes here. All right. Well, Stubbie would be pretty good here, because now we can not get out leveraged on some of those routes like we would in man-to-man coverage, where I can take the inside guy and wall him off up to my help over the top, and my outside nickel is taking 3 out, and he can match this route man-to-man, right? As opposed to us running over each other and overlapping and allowing the offense to create space with rub and pick routes. That's one reason why you may want to call Stubbie. Another reason why you may want to call this type of coverage check is to deal with RPOs, all right? Because with RPOs, with 3 going out and this guy going up to seal, okay, we could put this player in a conflict with run action, and now we can rip to this guy. Well, now with Stubbie, remember this guy, he's taking 3 out. So he's looking at 3 first, and when 3 releases out, I can now aggressively attack outside arm free, okay? And now force this guy back to our help, okay? Now, that plays a vital role in the position of the defense. This is why this guy is playing with outside leverage when we are in Stubbie, okay? I've read a lot of articles on this, and I've noticed that he's always outside leverage of the number 2, and I would imagine it's because of wanting to be able to out leverage that out to the flat and forcing it back inside and being aggressive on that RPO action, right? So that's why you would want to call Stubbie, okay? Now we can get into the weaknesses of Stubbie, okay? And one way you can attack a coverage like this, for one, this guy's one-on-one on the outside. All right, remember he's mag locked one-on-one, okay? But the reason why Stubbie, it's not that big of a deal is because this guy has the sideline as his help, and there's not a lot of space for that receiver to run routes to the outside, so this guy can use the sideline for help. And he shouldn't need as much help as the interior defenders, all right? But that's still something notable. He's one-on-one on the outside. Another issue with Stubbie is certain route combinations where, you know, we can draw up something here where we get this guy running something like an over pattern and we run something like double post, all right? And you can imagine the issue that we would run into here is because the safety, remember he's 3-2. 3 is vertical, so it takes me, I have to match that route man-to-man, and now the nickel is man-to-man with outside leverage on this deep post, and now we have a problem here with the big shot down the middle of the field. And that's where we can run into issues with Stubbie, okay? So it's not a major issue because I really drew up a specific route combination to attack this. I'm pretty sure that there are others, but that is something to keep in mind when you run this particular coverage, at least theoretically, okay? Now, if you're wondering what you can do to deal with that problem, that's where we get into a different check called Seattle. All right, and I'm going to make a video on that. Obviously, this is not the place for that. All right, Seattle will deal with that double post problem in a more efficient manner while still keeping the ability to defend RPOs the way Stubbie does. Okay, so I'm trying to think of something else. I think that is it. One strength with this is, you know, we allow, you know, I think I'll leave it at that. I don't want to go too far in some of this, but again, this is just a general video for the different trips checks. I've went over a kick, and this one was Stubbie. I believe the next one I will get into Seattle, but there are plenty to go over. You know, you have clip, you have stump. Okay, you have a lot of different checks. But again, this is just a library course, so you can learn what these are all about. All right. Hopefully I didn't miss too much, and I hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.